because I know, like when people watch movies, I mean, you don't see the camera department, you don't see the sound, you don't see everything else. Would you say that being the cameraman's perhaps the most dangerous job? Because I mean, the actor,
So many camera operators have died.
so you'd say it's the most dangerous job in
Many.
terms of within the film industry?
Well, with Alec Baldwin on his film, the it was operator and she was also the director of photography. She got shot because no one checked the gun properly and it had a live bullet in it.
Has that ever happened
And
to
it,
you on film where you're using blanks, but then something comes out and you've been shot?
oh, blanks, something always comes out. So I had shields, I had face shield, would do paper testing and stuff beforehand, hold it close to a sheet of paper. If it blows a hole in it, it's like, well, okay, that's not good. Um,
That's definitely
I've been
not
hit
good.
by burning metal, explosions, things go flying. So to have a
Yeah.
helmet and whatever, you don't know. Even they put wires on car doors so they don't fly too far. There's no guarantee that wire's not going to snap.
Yeah, no, that's true.
In Canada, we were going to blow up a car, and just when they said effects go hot, it went boom. Oh, anyone get that? No? Okay, we'll come back next week with another car. It's like the guy doing the effect hit the wrong wire. Luckily, no one was near it
Oh, yeah, otherwise that would
when it
have been,
exploded.
yeah, otherwise that would have been, I mean, not fun.
In Hong Kong, they were blowing up some cars, and a props guy stuck his head round the corner to have a look and got hit by a hubcap and took half his head off.
Was that were you on that film?
No, no, but you hear a lot of stories on Batman. A camera operator got killed. Director of photography, a British guy, his son got killed on a documentary. I think it was in South Africa or something. You when they're doing a stunt, I don't want anything around me because I know which way I'm going, and I'm going to go there really fast.
I
As
remember,
soon as it
could you tell everyone of
passes a
that
point,
story? Could you tell everyone of that story you told me when I can't remember, but you were doing an action movie and someone was doing something and they accidentally put something behind you and you almost fell over or you fell over and then you started guy.
oh yeah, it wasn't that part. It was just moving quickly, but someone put a bucket or something, and I tripped on it. Actually, no. It's happened a couple of times. I picked up the bucket and threw it across the room and said, "What idiot put this here?" In a film that's just coming out that we shot in Malta, the stunt guys put in a pad because I was running backwards following this guy. They put in a pad to catch a gun he was going to drop, but
Mm,
they never told me
mm.
that they're putting this pad in. So
Yeah,
it's
this
like
is the story.
I nearly go flying backwards, and then the armorer guy who was big ex marine or whatever, I just went up and started screaming right in his face, and obviously he's not used to people approaching him in that manner because he's saying, "Oh, we got to save the gun." I said, "Dude, do you know how much more this camera's worth than that gun?" No, but he's just like shocked that I'm come up and I'm screaming at him
Yeah.
because I don't. Safety is a big issue, and I don't fall.
Oh, because that could ruin everything, right? That could get you injured, that could ruin the equipment, that can,
It can put you out of a job. It can do anything. And
yeah.
just to slide in a mat to catch a gun when you can see me running backwards, and the mat's like that thick, and you just hit it with your foot, and it's like suddenly you're about to go over.
Yeah, people don't realize that, what you see on TV is not the reality. The reality is that Usually it's very long hours, it's very tiring. Their injuries. Like remember when we were on Germany? When we were shooting the last Kumite, it was actually the
In
first
the
movie
scene
that
I
I
put
was in.
you in,
No, no,
and
different scene.
no, and somehow, we said we're going to put you on a sliding pan because he's not
No,
actually
not
going to
that
pull
one.
your nose, but
Not that one.
he actually wanted to go more realistic and just drag you.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't watched the movie, go watch it. I was told my acting was great, but man, my nose was swollen the next day. But no, the we were doing it was when they were filming the Kumite and this guy who was just walking through what stunt he was about to do. Remember? And then he slipped and like tore his ACL in his knee and boom, just like
Yep,
that
you're right.
and snap.
Yeah.
So massive respect to anyone who's in that film industry because I mean, being on set and stuff, that's not an easy job.
No,
Speaking of the film industry, yeah, you were saying?
in Hell with Van Damme, the main bad dude, they'd built this big fighting arena, but they hadn't joined the mats properly, and this guy stepped in the middle and twisted his ankle, so we had to replace him.
On the movie that you worked on.
Yeah, because they hadn't joined the mats properly. Because the mats were
Yeah,
under a canvas, so you can't see them.
yeah.
And just that something that simple, do your ankle, dude, you're out of a job. Sorry.
What's it? I mean, I know I've had first-hand experience and that was quite unique, but to those who just watch the movies, what's a typical movie like in terms of days, in terms of working hours, in terms of how much you actually need to do before the viewers watch the finished product?
On the level movies I do, they're sort of getting shorter. Um, 24 days, 12-hour days, 1 hour for lunch, or 45 minutes for lunch. Hong Kong has 15 or 20 minutes for lunch.
So not even a full hour's break?
No, there's nothing to do. You get bored.
True,
As soon as you
true.
finish your lunchbox, go back to work because otherwise the crew will go to sleep and then it's slow to
Yeah.
get going again. So
What's the longest movie you've worked on?
as in days,
Yeah,
Conan, I think that was like 65 days,
and that's 6 days on, 1 day off.
something like that. Yeah,
How tiring is that
pretty
in terms of
tiring.
your body and your
No,
like how do you get through that?
keep going, drink coffee.
We're not gonna talk about your coffee consumption, Dad. I saw it
Uh,
firsthand when we were in Saudi. My dad, my dad, what was it? So, we were shooting something, like I don't know what it was called, but it was like a different perspective, trying to shoot a teaser for
boxing, yeah.
um boxing in Saudi, and we were shooting the Deontay Wilder against Zhang event, and then I wake up in the morning and see my dad with a 2 liter water bottle just pouring cups of coffee in it, going, "Dad, what are you doing?" And he goes, "I need to stay awake."
Yeah, because the whole thing happened at the middle of the night.
Oh, we didn't finish till 4:30 in the
And
morning.
you jet lagged and whatever because you weren't there long enough to adjust. So just do what it
Uh,
takes to stay awake.
Speaking of jet lag and adjustments, what would you
But
say is the hardest
the
for a
longest
film?
day I had was on a commercial, and it was
Oh
36
yeah,
hours
in a row
straight.
or
Yeah, straight. But you got people falling over. It was only because of the talent's availability that
yeah.
we had to go so long. But at that point in time, you're doing silly things and falling over, tripping over stuff and whatever.
Is that
It's
even legal? Like,
generally
surely
no.
there's a surely there's a limit on how many hours you can go before you get some time off.
No, especially I think in America they have a big issue where I mean, especially if you got to drive home after doing long days, people have
Yeah,
accidents, and that becomes another killer. You know, people
yeah,
just fall asleep at the wheel. You know, if you live 45 minutes away or whatever, depends where you're driving to. At least I generally have a driver, so I get in the car and go to sleep.
I remember when we were in Germany when we were shooting every single car ride, my dad just.
Yeah.
So what would you say? So you got traveling, you've got equipment, you've got the actual shooting, you've got working with everyone. What would you say is the hardest part if you had to rank it? Like your top two hardest things about making a movie?
Depends who's directing. Um, Getting on the same page with the director as to lighting it and what, or some stunt guys, some stunt coordinators, because they rehearse stunts in a gym and they want to do all these crazy moves and whatever and stuff and say, you know, oh, let's do it this way and whatever. And it's like, can you just put a light stand in the gym and avoid it as you do all this crazy stuff? You tell me
Mm,
where I can put a light because we're
yeah,
not shooting in your gym, we're shooting on a location and it's part of a movie. So that you can have difficulties with that because everyone's got their little camera saying, "Oh, move it like this and go around." It's like we're shooting on location.
yeah,
I actually need to put light somewhere, and also, if you want to shoot at high speed, I need more light.
yeah.
So you tell me where can I put a light, or
I mean,
adjust your choreography a bit, dude.
what would you? I mean, I remember the okay when you watch fight scenes on TV, looks great, looks smooth, looks everything, but I mean, from experience, it's the exact opposite. Talk people through what it's actually like filming a fight scene.
Piece by piece, because you got to make every punch look like a hit, and it's more the reaction as to the punch or the kick. It's how the people react. So the stunt coordinator normally, when we did Undisputed 2, JJ Perry, who was the stunt coordinator, came in early to teach the local Bulgarian stunt guys how to react, how to flip and spin and whatever, as if you've just been hit, but not look like you're jumping.
I
Because to
remember the
throw a
saying you
punch
told
is
me.
easy, but it's the reaction makes it look powerful.
I remember the saying you told me. Was it all stuntmen get shot the same way?
They do.
Like they do the same.
They went to the same school of dance. Yeah,
Like when they get shot, they all do the same movements.
yeah. And it's like, guy, dude, you got shot once. How can you dance? You just go boom, and you go down. Yeah,
No,
that's
fight.
an unfortunate thing. And the other one of my other hates is when someone kicks and the guy ducks, but you can actually see his foot is way over his head to start with, and it's like, what did you duck for?
Okay, so the people who don't film movies, they're not going to understand what you mean when you say it's over his head. And this might break the hearts of some people, but when you do film, when you're fighting in film, you guys don't hit each other. So
No.
explain the foot over the head thing for them so they
Well,
can
okay, you
understand it
try
better.
not to hit each other. That does happen, including hitting the camera and the camera dude, especially when people start rehearsing and they never told anyone. Suddenly you get kicked in the head, and it's like, I was looking over here. What are you doing? Smack.
Boom.
No, if you want to kick someone in the head, aim for the head and make them duck. Because if
Yeah,
you're kicking high, depends on the camera angle, and the person ducks, you can easily see that they're never going to hit them anyway.
yeah.
So it's like, hey, if they don't duck, hit them.
That's one way to get them to duck the next time.
Oh yeah,
Well,
because
I
it's
remember.
it's timed out in beats. It's just like dancing. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. One's this, two's that, three's that, four's that. Remember the numbers. That's how you follow action. Is you count.
I remember the thing. If they don't duck, hit him. I remember when we were shooting the last Kumite, Mikey who was Draco. He went for a punch, and I swear I heard it cross my face. And this guy is like 110 kilos of muscle, and I just remember saying to myself, "Thank God that didn't hit me."
No, but that's, I mean, when you got all these professionals, they know exactly how close they can go, and they're
Yeah.
extremely accurate, especially like Scott Adkins and Van Dam with their feet and their kicks. They know if they're an inch away from you. So, but also don't cross that line and come an inch closer, because especially if they're spinning, they can't see it
Oh,
until they come around. So
have
if
you ever
you,
had have you ever done movies where you're shooting, like you're actually rolling and the guy gets hit instead of missing, and you just
yeah,
use that clip for the movie?
yeah, it was actually a female got hit in Vietnam. She got clocked.
Oh, and that shot where she's actually getting clocked is in the film?
I believe so, because she ended up with an ice bag to take the swelling down.
Oh, I mean, hey, at least now you know you didn't get hit for no reason.
No, she popped it up here, but it screws up the makeup. It's like, okay, we can't use you for like half an hour because you're swollen. Let's find something else to shoot.
Oh, I can just imagine. Uh, I can imagine how pissed she must have been when it actually copped her.
Yeah, she wasn't happy about that.
So since we've got, I mean, about like 10 minutes left or so for the first episode. By the way, guys, we're probably gonna do a round two because I mean, A, it's my dad. B, I love asking questions to my dad. And C, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm learning more about him every single time we speak, and I just find these things really interesting to talk about. So, Dad, what does it take to be a successful camera operator?
I don't know. It's getting more difficult all the time because now there's so much equipment available at a low cost, and people are doing YouTube and doing it themselves. And basically, you're competing with them. Producers are less experienced. Um, they just hire anybody. But until the first question I'd ask a producer is, if you were shooting this on film, would you hire the same crew? And he goes, no, 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 because I'd need people who know what they're doing. Okay, so that means you're happy to have people who don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And just as different types of camera operating and framing and whip pans and don't miss. If you
Mm,
want to whip pan and stop within an inch and come in on perfect headroom, that takes practice. And there's certain tricks to do it. But on YouTube, everyone's shooting at 100 frames, some pretty girl walking down the beach, and it's like, oh, it's so cinematic. And it's like, yeah, I've never seen that shot in a movie. Certainly not in the ones I do.
so interesting. Elaborate on that. How different is shooting film to shooting YouTube videos?
YouTube, you do whatever you want because no one's telling you what to do. Now you have to do what you're told
Mm,
and frame it in a way and do whatever and meet a schedule. And
mm,
same as, they do lighting displays, but the person's sitting still. What about when they get up and run around the house? Now
mm.
what do you do? So you got to
Yeah.
plan all this stuff out. And that's where you talk to the director. And if you want to shoot some high speed stuff, you got to tell me, man, because that changes how I light it.
Yeah.
And then depends when you turn up on set if everything's going well and how the blocking works of how the actors are moving, adjusted accordingly.
Mm,
So at least now the lights have changed because the LEDs are so good and the COB lights,
Yeah,
and so many lights can run off battery, so you don't need cables everywhere. So
yeah.
you can go very fast by doing that. I carry a few of my own lights just because a lot of rental companies won't have small lights because they're not going to make any money out of them.
Mm.
Um, the movie I did in Australia, all the car interior stuff, I've lit with three lights basically, little LEDs, and
Yeah.
shot,
I mean,
shot
guys,
at
if you know what you're
rear
doing, you don't
projection.
need as much as you think, right?
No, but then for all the interactive lights, you get as many as possible, and everyone's just panning lights around for street light
Yeah.
going past and whatever.
Yeah.
But for the actual interior, I had three little lights, because the cameras are
Godox lights, right?
more sensitive. Yeah, I like Godox.
Yeah, guys, Godox, great, great, great lighting company. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just solely saying my dad
Neither am
uses
I.
them a lot, and
No,
I've got one.
I went for Godox because their little light was round, and if I sit it right next to the camera, the reflection in the actor's eye is round, not square, so it looks more natural. It just looks like a highlight. That's why I actually started using Godox, because nobody
I
would
did
make
not
a
even think of
round
that.
light,
I
because
did
you can
not
see the
even think of
reflections
that.
in people's eyes,
Yeah,
especially if you're on a close up and they're talking away, da 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 da, and you can see a
yeah,
square. It's a light.
yeah. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, that was the first thing, because also before we used to use eye lights a lot. Now a lot of the young guys don't know what an eye light is. Just
I
something
don't
to
know
put
what a
on,
nightlight is.
just a tiny little hit in the eyes.
Yeah,
It just gives that little gloss to it.
yeah.
Now on Netflix, most people's eyes, you can't even see them.
That is true. That is very
It's
true.
they hit them with top light and say, "Oh, it's moody." Yeah, but you're paying Johnny Depp so much money. People want to see his eyes.
Yeah.
You
No,
can
for
do it
sure.
sometimes, but not a lot.
Definitely.
Because
Because if you end up doing
the producer will come up and say, I'm spending so much money for this actor, I want to see him.
you want every bit of it.
Yeah. When I did a movie with Keith Sutherland, I had a light down between his legs, and just for how that
Ooh,
scene was, huh?
ooh.
And
Interesting part.
and I said to him, I said, look, your name's in the credits. We'll see you in in other parts of the movie. If you move this way, we don't see. If you move this way, we do. You decide.
Yeah.
But I said, your name's in the credits anyway. So just happened to be
Yeah, guys.
the main star of the film. So at some point, we are
So,
going to see you.
so so if you were to go back and tell your 30-year-old self, what would you do differently to to in terms of being in the film industry and camera stuff and connections and everything?
I don't know. It's all, I mean, a lot of the directors and producers I used to work for have died. So
Yeah,
and also streaming has come out, social media's come out, the world's totally different.
yeah,
Uh, I try and keep up to date with all the software and the lighting technology and everything and stuff, and adapt with it. It's
yeah,
adapt or die. And same with the cameras. And to me, I don't see the need for a super expensive camera kit when people watch movies on their phones and their iPads. Bottom line, I'd
Yeah.
sooner shoot something with a good story.
Oh, fair enough. Because, I mean, right? Like every like 99.9% of people either watch it on the phone or your tablet. No one's going big screen TV anymore, or rarely
No, but
anyone is.
also the quality of stories I think have dropped. And
Mm,
people are going on about camera packages and things. It's like, yeah, but your story sucks. Who cares what you shot it on? If you shoot on your
r-
phone and it's a good story, it's going to do well and people are going to watch it.
yeah. I mean, definitely, because at the end of the day, if I mean, everyone can cope with a little, slight dip in quality, but good, entertaining story than just absolute crap on the TV.
And sound is more important.
Definitely. I learned that the hard way from my old YouTube video.
If people can't hear it properly, they're not going to watch it. Doesn't matter what it looks like.
Yeah,
So
no, for sure.
sound is huge.
So, last question before we go to a bit of quick fire questions where you choose between A and B, and then we'll wrap it up. What, so, you've done a lot in the movie industry. You've shot so many movies in so many countries with with so much experience. I've actually had a few people ask me this. I don't know if I told you, but a few people ask me, they're like, "Oh, I know your dad's a cameraman. I know your dad's directed. What should I do? What's my next step? Should I go to school? Should I do this?" So what advice would you give those who want to follow in your footsteps and work on those big films and be
It's a
in the
completely
movies?
different ball game now where I learnt by assisting and whatever. Um,
Yeah,
those opportunity you got to whatever you do in YouTube, you can't just turn up and say, "Oh, I'm a cinematographer and whatever and stuff." You got to go and start back at the bottom again and learn from
yeah,
other people and learn how to work on a set and work for other people and whatever. The following film, you can try and bump it up, but at some
yeah,
point, you got to go back and learn because it's a different game. And the
yeah.
hard thing is, yeah, you might have to do your first film for free or whatever, or a low
Didn't
price.
you didn't you tell me you did one film for like they just give you alcohol in exchange when you were really young,
Yeah, I
just
wasn't
because you wanted
wasn't
to do the movie?
I just didn't want to go home, basically.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
feel like now everyone is so they want to do as little work as possible for as much money as possible, as quick as possible, everything bish bash bosh, I'm done, I'm out, give me my money. And that's not gonna work in this industry, is it?
No, it's the new generation. I don't know what's going to happen. People aren't learning apprenticeships. It's not just the
Yeah,
film industry, and everybody has a film school. And the one thing they don't teach you about film school is being unemployed, because the place is
yeah,
swamped. Because also, so there's so many good cheap. Well, every camera is good at
yeah,
whatever price. So yes, you can get all the practice you want, which I couldn't do when I was young because those cameras didn't exist.
yeah,
Um, but you got to know what you're practicing, and you got to know how to work with people
yeah,
because it's no longer you by yourself, and how to deal with actors and whatever, and when to talk, when to shut up, and all this type of stuff.
yeah, definitely. All right, Dad, are you ready for some quick fire questions?
Yeah,
Chicken or beef?
beef,
Sony or Canon?
Canon,
Marvel or DC?
Marvel,
Action or comedy?
comedy.
TV series or movie?
I'd like to do a series, because they employ you for a long time, and bottom line, you make more money. I like movies, but yeah, I'd like to do a series that goes for a couple of years.
Or just imagine like doing something like Big Bang, like how much
No,
money
that's a
you'd
bit
make
boring,
on
but
that.
Grey's Anatomy or something because it's got more different locations or whatever. But I mean, Big Bang is basically their apartment. So,
Oh, yeah, majority of it was
the-
just shot there.
yeah, so you want a series that has more locations and more challenges in it and things. But
Yeah.
True to Detective and whatever looked fantastic, and
Mm,
but to do a series or Stranger Things and whatever, that'd be great.
sweet. All right. Now some I'll ask you a question and you have to answer them as fast as you can.
Okay,
Favorite TV series?
Big Bang,
Favorite movie?
Braveheart,
If you could be a superhero, which superhero would you be?
Thor.
Sweet. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Like that or
What's your
Iron Man.
favorite camera? Oh, Iron Man.
Favorite camera? I like the Canon C300 Mark II. It's it's for user friendliness. That's a big thing I judge cameras on is how user friendly they are. Where
Mm,
everyone goes on about black magic and it can do all this type of stuff, but the thing is, it's not user friendly. Not the
yeah,
way I use cameras and throw them around. So depends what type of thing you're filming as to
yeah.
what camera to use.
Didn't you say as well that there was this, was it you were editing or something, and you were saying that there's this one software, it's like piece of piss, and another one that in order to do it, you need like a 3-year uni degree to understand how it works. Remember that one?
Yeah, so you spend your time figuring out how to use the software as to editing.
All right, hang on. Let me pull those questions back up. If you weren't, if you didn't do camera operating, what would you do? Like as a career?
Drive a taxi. I don't know.
Drive, drive a nice. That answer caught me. So I thought you were gonna say like, I don't know, like actor or I don't know, athlete or taxi driver. Favorite country you've been to in terms of shooting?
Thailand. No, when I worked at the TV station, we had our own helicopter, so I did tons of helicopter stuff. And
You
even
did?
on that, yeah. But back
I
in
thought you
those
guys
days,
just drove around.
no, no. I think every TV station had their own helicopter, and we'd sometimes at the relief helicopter pilot, we had this one dude from New Zealand, and these guys are
Oh,
a little bit crazy because he used to fly for deer hunters, and they'd fly so close to the deer, the guy would jump out of the helicopter and tackle the deer. So these guys are used to flying low and scary and whatever. Or you get a helicopter pilot who's flown for the mines in New Guinea because if they survive, they're a good pilot.
no, they'd be pretty damn good. They'd be pretty good.
But back in those days, there's no safety harness or anything. You just loosen your seatbelt
Yeah,
off and stand out on the skids and whatever and put the camera
yeah.
down and we're doing a low run up the beach. And then the pilot says, "Hang on, we're going up." And I said, "Why?" He goes, "There's a wave coming." And I look out the side window and the wave is over the helicopter. We're just a couple of feet off the water because I was getting the spray on my feet and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that could have been takedown. Helicopter down.
yeah, no, and then we take off the TV stations were on a hill. And soon as we took off this one time, this really heavy cloud came in and we couldn't see a single thing. And the pilot said, "Okay, look, I know there's a valley here that leads out to the river. So if we can get under the clouds, so we open the door and we're all hanging out saying tree, tree, left, right. But you couldn't, you could see 5 feet.
I mean,
That's,
that's impressive. The fact that you guys didn't crash when all of you are just, yep, up, 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 up. Like
yeah,
that's
great, look
impressive.
out, go right, go right.
On that note, thank you so much for being on the show, Dad. I had a great
Thanks for
time
having me.
talking to you. I can't wait to film round two. Round two we can do more. We can do different stories, more about you and more fun experiences.
Sure, anytime.